I'm not prepared enough. I will start again. I just put the cat puzzle down because they were so nosy what I was doing, and now they're crunching next to the camera. That will be a charm. I'll start again. Okay. I've prepared everything and here I am. It's a special vlog for Patreon where I talk about my mending. So I hope this is an interesting type of content for you. I know we're all crafters and makers, and some of us are writers, some of us are, whatever we are in our kind of professional life, but also kind of multifaceted identity. And I think it would be really great to make it a bit more of a topic here on my page in this year, 2024, that I do enjoy mending. So much so that I have actually achieved a lot of mending already this year. I have had a weekend focus. I think the past 3 weekends I didn't really sit and knit like I usually would, but I sit and mend. So I've brought everything I've completed this year. That's a lot, I know. So I will just talk you through them and like quickly. I won't talk about the project themselves. You might recognize them from my podcast because this is a mending blog. I will highlight the areas that I mended and what I've learned. So sit back, I hope you have a cup of tea and maybe around half an hour to spare to sit with me whilst I share a little bit of my mending of 2024. There, you saw a little bit of overview. It's a tall stack and I've just kind of shifted it here so everything's a bit wobbly, and we're going to go through it in the way they are just tumbled to my side. I'm sat in my kitchen for a change of scenery, also because there's good light here at the moment, and yeah, I have a strong memory of working on this in this kitchen, and I thought, yeah, it's a good spot for it. So with this cardigan, actually this button band is sewn on. The modular design meant it was actually the nicest way to have this moss stitch button band. And once at work I kind of just tucked it at the bottom and this half bit just went and I'd used the snefnook for stitching it. So one of the first things this year I did, well, let's say it's actually what I did 2 weekends ago, so that's, mid-February, but I used some stronger yarn, like a sock yarn, and reattached the button band for around this length. You see a little, I've kind of knotted and stitched it in, but it was just it had come undone and I didn't want to do the whole button band again, so I kind of just fixed this middle bit. And then I looked at it, and because of this modular design, there was all these places where some of the seams, some of them I had knitted on in kind of like an attachment way, but some, like down the sleeve, or actually here you can still see, some of my seams are actually quite, it was quite rushed. I just went like zigzag, zigzag, zigzag. So I have these big gaps, and I just found this that I haven't fixed. But most of these gaps that I found in these seams where I was like, that's not very neat work, Mimi. I basically, you know, I think I watched a Bake Off episode or something, and just by rewatching, I was so chilled out, I just kind of found the places that are a bit not so well stitched and adjusted them, as in just used some sock yarn, which is a little bit finer, and re-stitched those seams. It was like maybe 1 to 2 hours work, and now I feel happier, and I definitely know I won't like tug at a corner and rip one of the threads again. So yes, and it's one of my, like, you know, warmest jackets that I've made. So also there's a little bit of extra footage that I hope to find to be able to share about this Laulu shawl. And now that I've blocked it, it's actually not really visible because the mohair has floofed up, and yeah, I re-knit. I can tell you, I re-knit from here and cast off again because I had accidentally burnt 2 places, and I was really sad about that at first. I had actually thrown the scarf in the bin because I was frustrated. Away, if a cardigan or like a garment or maybe even a skein of wool has been infested with moths and you find moth eggs, which often happens in winter, or like a hole, like a, you know, where it kind of frays and then you have these spider webby rice cone shaped things left over, that it would be where the moth has hatched and eaten away at your garment. And I found something like that on this Laulu, and I was like, oh my word. So I wrapped it all up in aluminium foil and I baked it, but I baked it straight on the baking tray and it singed because it had gotten too hot. We have a gas oven, so it's super dangerous. I should have had the temperature much lower, and I should have had the aluminium foil in the ceramic, like ramekin thing. I made that mistake, and I will never make that mistake again, because that was A, so horrible to think that I could have set something on fire, and B, like I lost this, or I thought I'd completely lost this Laulu shawl, but I literally just had to re-knit chart 3 and 4. So basically cut it at this point, put the stitches back on a needle, worked out where I was in the chart, which at first I was like, I'm never gonna know where I am, found the spot I was in, phew, and started knitting. And then it was just like a couple of hours really, and I really enjoy knitting the Laulu chart. I was just happy that it was just 2 bits of it and then the little cast off. So I'm really glad I have that and I didn't just chuck it and give up on it. Tip top. That was a good move. This was a super easy mend. I had ripped one of these tassels off because they're only attached with a little bit of wool, and it was off for I think 1.5 years, and I never wore it because I thought it needs 4 tassels. And just one morning after having my morning tea, I found this blue yarn and reattached the tassel. A matter of maybe 5 minutes. Looking for the wool, maybe another 5 minutes. So 10 minutes, and it was mended, and I've been wearing it and I love it. So that proves a point. Some mends take a couple of days, and sometimes mending only takes 5 to 10 minutes and then it's back. So touching my own nose to remember that. Another thing that had a couple of Velcro damages, and now since the Lalu shawl had this moth thing, I wonder if the second damage was a moth damage. All of these, once I've repaired them, I wash them with a lavender rich wool wash. I use Oikalan, or I use the cedarwood, I think it's cedarwood wool soap from Hey Mama Wolf. I also have the citronella wool soap from Hey Mama Wolf. It's a hunk, it's a slice of, it's like a solid soap, and I use that. So I've done that with all of these afterwards, hoping that now I can protect them better, and I will definitely put them in bags and safely away over summer. But it was necessary for me to start the mending before I could do the washing, because I didn't want the holes to get any bigger, especially these where it's like special textures, you know, special different kinds of textures that I would have had to have mended. And I once did that and fixed something with safety pins and then washed it, because I thought I should wash it to get rid of any kind of eggs or dirt or like mothy remains before stitching it. But then I had Rostflecken, like rusty stains from where I'd kept the safety pins, so that was like, that sweater is gone. That was a double mistake for me. But yeah, here I fixed some of these darker areas, and luckily I still have this wool as a Hebridean from a shepherd's daughter of a shepherd, that's the name of the brand. So what else did I fix on this? I think I also had to fix something in this Murka yarn bit and one of these diamond shapes, which is where I started thinking that was a moth damage, whereas I think this up here had been a Velcro damage. So well, I'm keeping my eye on this one because it's always on my sofa, and I move it quite a lot, because when I knit I would sit and I would use it either as a shoulder or lap blanket, so it's in use. Yeah, doesn't necessarily have that thing of being stored in a dark corner. So now my knitting seat is actually right beside the window. There's a lot of daylight that gets there. I hope this won't have this issue again, this big project, because I really love it, and it has so many different colors in it. Makes it easy to mend, I suppose, because whatever color you use, you know, whatever mend you need to do, you can just use any color. It's colorful, but yeah, I really don't want to lose it because it was so much work. Same for this blanket. I'm sorry, so many projects. Maybe we should have a little break. Hydrate. My habitation throw, which is a blanket, it has some hardly spun Gotland yarn, as well as these bits that are Plutolopi, and I had holes there, so actually I had to mend in garter stitch, and I found that, to be honest, very hard. I did do a mending workshop at work with Jule of Hey Mama Wolf as well, and I forgot to ask her about how to fix garter stitch, because you know, especially with these eyelets, it's different to using Swiss darning, because you know the stitch is turning all the time. So I don't think I necessarily had worked it out properly. I'm trying to find the area. Let me hold it up and look for it, and you can see the colors maybe. Is this it? Yeah, here. See where it was this kind of hardly spun yarn. I kind of stitched it. It doesn't look as here you see the garter stitch, and the bit where I mended it is just like waves. And then it's back to garter stitch. So potentially not so successful, but I think in a blanket it doesn't matter. There was other areas, so I'm trying to... here, it was that same goatland that had been affected in 2 areas. This grey. Another spot is here. Can you see it? Here. This area here. And it was exactly where the eyelet was, and I managed to catch. So on this side actually you can't really see it, but the grey is a little bit bunched up in this area here, but I managed to catch all the eyelet, the different color, and it's just this goatland. I don't know, it wasn't as solid as some of the other yarns, so fingers crossed it was that and not moths, but at this point I do not know. I'm being really careful, and especially like my stash, everything's in boxes, all my leftovers. I'm like addicted to these zipper bags and IKEA like freezy bags with the double sealed. So most of my yarn is that, apart from the projects that I'm working on or new purchases. So I need to like be really solidly aware of putting everything away in these bags. If I buy new yarn, which I did because there's a sale at work, I bought some yarns and I need to immediately seal them in, stash them away to a safe place, and so I'm being good with that, and whatever I feel like I'm worried goes to the freezer, and I kind of just have to be really super aware this season. Here, I found it. This area here as well. Well, it was a big blanket, so I'm glad to have it back. I've washed it in a bathtub, the same as the first cardigan I showed you, and this. Once it was mended, it had to go in the bathtub to be washed because it's huge. I also had a hole in one of these. I call them beans because they're these like big yellow things, and again, I mean, the good thing is I still have the yarn, so I think it's this one here. Let me see. I did a great job mending this. I feel like it's not visible because I had the same yarn. Yeah, I can't find it anymore. Can't even show you. Maybe it's this one. Nope. Oh God, I'm sorry. This is... I might have had to have marked. Okay, it took a moment to find it. It's actually this one here. Yeah, so I kind of picked up some stitches that had gone away and just re-knitted this little shape. And then I made sure all these stitches were solid, and then I re-added this orange bridge slip stitch. Okay, and then here it was the same problem that I'm not an experienced garter stitch mending person, so I don't have this blue cotton merino yarn anymore. I think it was already not in a good shape when I used it. It was a leftover from the shop that I used to work in, and so I think I put it away after I made this shawl, thinking I never need it, and it had torn in some bits in the bowl, so I guess maybe the bowl had like moths in it, or was kind of thready. It's a cotton merino, so they sometimes are a little funnily produced. So yeah, I kind of fixed it, but now I see there's actually like a thread coming out. But I used this blue yarn, which is a woolly mammoth plant dyed yarn. It's called the Irish Sea in Spring, or an Irish Spring by the Sea. I think it's called an Irish Spring by the Sea, this colorway. I love it. And it's very similar, so I thought I'll just kind of fix it with that. And that was this for my really beloved. I might wear it today. It's windier than I thought it would be. So I might wear this when I go out. And then I fixed some small things. So these had worn through palms, and I still had some of this Manx Longathan yarn, which Fran of the Woolen Hearted had gifted me, so I could just kind of duplicate stitch Swiss darn this area. Again, I'm not yet confident in my Swiss darning. I try, but you know, these are usable again, and I've freshly washed them, blocked them again. They've always had this thing of being a little bit squishy on my fingers here. I guess I could have, I've already added in that much length in the past. I suppose I could add in more length, or I need to wear them like to the front. I love these, but they're a bit funny for my middle finger actually, because they're squashed there. So I tried to use the chance that I mended them, washed them, to block them and actually pinned and stretched them, but it's still a bit of a problem. And yeah, then you might have seen on my Instagram, I re-knit this, I re-knit these toes because they had a hole, but that's from wear and tear. And the other toe, I did a little darn. I don't know if it shows. It's light blue in the dark blue. And yeah, I will reinforce the heels next. So they're still a work in progress. And last but not least, this Fisherman rib cardigan that I love wearing now that I've mended it. It had two, because this is Murka yarn, and it's Murka Heritage, or Ilina I think is the other name. It's a single spun, and maybe you can tell it goes thin and thick. It goes thin, and so like here, for example, you can see I got caught here, and then you have these kind of loops coming out, and I got caught in two places and had ripped the thread, but I had keeping that yarn safe for all the mending. And with this cardigan, I'm so happy I fixed it. I wear the Procrastinator pin with it from Rhinestats. Susan Knitlib, Susan's partner, made. Yeah, I love that I've mended this and all of this. So I had to charge the camera, but basically I'm extremely happy. That's where I left off, that now I've finished this cardigan's mend and I can wear it again. It's a very good lighter cardigan for early spring. Well, still winterish, but I definitely wear it lots more since I fixed it. And yeah, I really like the Muka yarn. I have more of it, so I should come up with something to do. I don't think I need another cardigan. I might make the sweater version of this design. That sweater is called the Osprey sweater. Yeah, I have a couple of projects now, mending wise, and they're getting smaller, so some of the bigger projects have obviously been finished, as you could tell. So I picked up my patchwork quilt socks recently and saw that this corner, I think my woven end has slipped out. So I've got to fix that. I'd rather fix it soon than later because I like wearing them, and sorry for the bobbly bottoms, but yeah, so I've got to fix that end and double check. I might reinforce the feet because I wear them quite a lot. I really like them. And recently I was very brave and I chopped my Kia socks. I just chopped off the feet because they had lots of holes. The sock yarn is also, I think, non-plastic, so I think I'll walk them through because of that. So I will add a new heel and foot for both of them. I chopped both of them, so I've got that to work on. And then these, which a friend of mine, Josh, had, well, and fellow Patreon supporter, had knitted me these socks, and already last year I fixed did this kind of woven darn on this heel, and now here as well, but I've walked it through. The darn is gone and needs a new darn, so I got more of this red darning thread, and I will also do woven darn. And I might check if there's any areas that need reinforcing, because I really like these socks and they're precious to me because Josh made them for me. And these are precious to me because I really like the yarn and I love the textured pattern. I think the feet I will just make cream colored or white, or maybe I should use this turquoise actually, because white socks and me don't really work. So yeah, I'm looking forward to fixing these and I'll keep you posted. Because I think if it's an interesting format, I should just try and do a mending update from time to time. And then I could even start with the socks next time and see if any of my other bigger projects will happen. I've got some felted items because I have been a bit crazy and I've accidentally felted some of my hand knits. So I will create something from the felt, because that is the experience I've had now from fixing the Laulu shawl and first going, it's one for the trash, that was a bad mistake, and then mending it. I feel like I felt better, so I'm thinking about things to do with the felted items, and I'll talk about that next time. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's always a pleasure to record a special vlog. I'm also recording a podcast so that it's all like I have a recording day and then an editing day. So I hope, in a week's time I can edit this and upload it. We'll see. Much love from me and thank you so much for your support. There's a special thing coming to the shop. Maybe when I edit this I will share like a birthday week 25% off all my items in the Etsy shop. Like this calendar, there's only 2 or maybe 3 of the calendars left in the shop. So I've put them on sale. Oh, I've put the whole shop on sale before I bring out lots of new products. I thought I'll do like a little cheeky sale. So yeah, watch this space. for when that goes up. I will definitely make a little post on Patreon, and yeah, it will be like no code needed, 25% off from Monday till Friday or something. So I'll think about that. I'll stew a bit more in my brain how to sort that out. Have a great day, my lovely. Bye bye.